Why did my friends have to change on me? Why I got so many people judging me? My life ain't the same, but my spirit remains. 'Cause I got it. Yeah, what can I say? When you change it for the better, people tend to walk away. But I got it, I got it. Yeah, yeah. Say no, 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 no. Say what would you say? If you made it to heaven and your family didn't make it, how could you cry? How could you even change it? When the world living wicked and don't receive the message, you get it and listen. Yeah. But your family don't wanna change, so then they start becoming different and distant. Righteous living is the mission, but some are hypocrites who don't wanna complete the mission and make a difference, so they fornicate with little children and whoring every day. But the most I see it all, so no, you cannot escape the wrath of his judgments. They cut through. You playing with the Most High, you gon' get snuck through. On the day of your death, you ain't gon' see it coming, because the wicked die young, the righteous live in numbers. And true guidance is what we need. We gotta pick up a Bible and put up the weed.
Shalom to all the Jews and Gentiles alike, sending a strong shalom to the children of light. You already know what the deal is. All praises to the Most High. All praises to Yahuwah Savayoth, the El Elyon of Avraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, the supreme consciousness. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother. Acknowledgement to our big brother, Yahushua, Hamashiach, Yahushai, Matzah the Lamb, the Lion from the tribe of Yehud. So brethren, today we can be talking about Pleiades, Orion, and Archturus, the constellations in the sky. In our last lesson, we talked about the children of light and how they came from the Orion and the Pleiades. But in this video, we're going to get a better understanding on these constellations. So we're going to go into the keys of Enoch. All right, we're going to go to, where are we going today? We're going to key 106. And we're gonna get some precepts out the Bible too. All right, so don't you worry. We got something cooking here. All right. So this is key 106, verse 4. The blueprint for this physical universe that we living in, and the world of negative mass pre-exists in the higher heavens, in the star codes of Pleiades. From these codes, the Elohim, Lords of Light in Orion, these are the creator gods, right? We did a lesson on the hierarchy before. All right. So from these codes, the Elohim, Lords of Light in Orion, they are inside Orion, creating the formation of the negative mass, which is modulated by the thought forms of the Lords of Light into the creation of the physical universe of mass evolution. This is verse 8. Moreover, in these higher creative functions, there are myriad arrangements of patterns for astrochemical destiny in the heavens, whereby both Kima, which is Pleiades, and Kesel, which is Orion, are cooperatively used in the programming of life synthesis from the pure light bodies of Orion into the transfigured corresponding physical forms of Pleiadic programs. The Pleiades represents the key to physical proto-creation. It represents the galactic beginning of the physical Adamic household. So this is where the children of light came to be, as far as their physical household, which is their bodies. Okay, so anything in creation is birthed from Pleiades. Now we're going to get to Orion. And if we examine the book of Genesis involving the 6 days of creation, we see that the 6 fields of light come together so that on the 7th day, the transmutation can be added to the physical chemistry of life. Therefore, on the 7th eon of light, the races which were evolved during the first 6 eons of time were superseded by the 7th ray, which is the planting of our Adamic household of Kima and Kesel intelligence on the planet as a witness to the evolving nations. Orion emanates the Gnosis, the knowledge which creates the Pneumatikoi, the spiritual powers of the Christ. Read it again. Orion emanates the Gnosis, the knowledge which creates the Pneumatikoi, which is the spiritual powers of the Christ. And we've talked about before how Christ in the metaphysical dictionary means the higher self of man. So the powers of Christ, or the powers of Mashiach, is in Orion. All right. However, the pre-physical garment of light, which is needed to embody this higher light consciousness, comes from the Pleiades. So we just talked about how Pleiades covers the physical aspect of everything in creation. All right. The Pleiades also gives us the light garments of the negative mass, which shapes the Sokoi, the physical spectrum of the many who are called. Between the two are the Psychoi, the rational minds who derive their mental energy from the lower heavens and call power unto themselves. They prevent the Sokoi from receiving the spiritual gnosis of the Pneumatikoi. All right, so let's get a precept. About to go into the book of Amos. About to go into the Bible, the good old Bible. Amos chapter 5 verse 8, and it reads, "Seek him that maketh the 7 stars and Orion." Now where it says 7 stars is talking about Pleiades, but I'm going to read another version and we're going to see what it says. All right. "Seek him that maketh the 7 stars and Orion, and turneth the shadow of death into the morning, and maketh the day dark with night, that calleth for the waters of the sea, and poureth them out upon the face of the earth. The Lord is his name." All right, now I got a Hallelujah scripture version, and this one says, "He who made Kima and Kesel, Pleiades and Orion, he who made Kima and Kesel, and who turns the shadow of death into morning and darkened day into night, who is calling for the waters of the sea and pours them out on the face of the earth. Yahuwah is his name." All right, so let's go back to the keys. Verse 12 in key 106. "In the evolution of our local universe, there have been many fallen planets that have claimed for themselves an eternal inheritance with the Father. However, Enoch clearly tells us in this key that the Adamic race, as the family of God, has come in the physical form from Orion and the Pleiades, wherein the Pleiades is both the true cradle, the seedbed, and the throne, the codes, to support the pre-existent consciousness of light." Let's go to verse 20. "The Big Dipper, the Ursa Major, and the Little Dipper, the Ursa Minor, are the threshold gates of the lower evolution in opposition to the Pleiades, the 7 lampstands to the throne of the Father. At the end of time, we will see the war of the heavens and the coming of the host of Michael. This will free the planetary intelligences from the influences of Ursa Major and Ursa Minor, the negative influences controlling the root races of this planet." And the word there, it just means light. So when you see the planet it just means planet light. All right. Verse 21. "Thus, the organic structure of God's race, the race of Christ set in motion at the beginning of creation, proceeds beyond the seventh day of creation when man is graduated to work with the intelligences of Kima and Kessel, Pleiades, and Orion. This high command intelligence works with our solar system through the midway station of Archturus. We're going to get to Arcturus in a minute, which opens the lower heavens by breaking the controlling handle of Ursa Major, thereby allowing the lower heavens to move into alignment with the true star pointer of the Pleiades. So the fallen entities, the archons, the fallen angels, they use Ursa Major and Ursa Minor to keep humanity at a low frequency. Okay, those are their ways to control the lower heavens. All right. Verse 22. In the formation of our local universe, the fallen lords of light imitated the blueprints of the sacred star groups of 7, which are the matrix of the host of heaven, and by initiating their seed into the star regions such as Ursa Major, these star systems become their midway stations, controlling negativity on the lower planets. Alright, so there you go. They use Ursa Major and Ursa Minor to control the lower heavens. Alright. Ephesians 6:12. For we not wrestle with flesh and blood, but against principalities in high places. Okay, you already know what the deal is. Alright. Verse 23. The next evolutionary orbital level of creation works completely with the Brotherhood of Light, not under the gates of Ursa Major and Ursa Minor, but under the direction of Pleiades and Orion, Kima and Kessel, the thresholds of the Kukavim, the distant star universes. Verse 26. Moreover, this key of the 7 thresholds of light speaks of the wars in the heavenly spheres between the spiritual powers in high places for control of the Zohar races, which contain the codes of the Adam Kadmon. The Zohar races are the celestial counterparts evolved from the same master blueprint which governs soul evolution on the planets. Verse 36. Thus, we see the Pleiades as reflecting the mathematics of the Lords of Light in the creation of new star systems and sun systems. We see the Pleiades in terms of the organic seed of the Pneumatikoi, the spiritual people of the Christ race. And we see the Pleiades in terms of the greater sacrifices of light and cosmology. Alright, so let's get another precept real quick. Let's go to another key 206, verse 17. Enoch explained to me that the sub-life stations must wage war against the biochemical rhythms of the dragon creation, which keeps them as recipients of limited knowledge. See, we were just talking about how the entities, the fallen entities, use the Ursa Major and the Ursa Minor to keep people here in the lower heavens at a low frequency. And it's basically saying the same thing here, right? Enoch explained that the sub-life stations must wage war against the biochemical rhythms of the dragon creation, which keeps them as recipients of limited knowledge. However, only the sons of light can resolve this war between the various biochemical levels by opening up the body of the Leviathan so that open-ended star movement towards perfection is possible. All right. Let me get another precept real quick. We're about to go to key 116, verse 40. We are to understand that our field of energy is rising out of the body of the galactic serpent of space and time. We are to understand how Lord Michael will do battle with the fallen embodiments of light in the galactic serpent Alpha Draconis. The serpent represents the devouring anti-universe, which keeps the planispheres imprisoned in a fixed station or orbit of circumpolarity that requires the sword of light power from constellations like Orion to intervene and liberate forms of space-time evolution from linear death. All right, so let's go to key 107. Let's go to key, key 107. Let's go to verse 2. All right. And when I was taken to Orion, I beheld within Trapezium Orion, light layers of great intensity, which revealed a series of inner heavens, collectively forming the foundation for birth and regeneration. And I was shown how Trapezium Orion, the threshold gate of star creation, is the conjunction with Omega Orion, the region of star death. Both are aligned with the Father's throne, governing through the star region of Alnitak, Alnilam, and Mintaka. All right, so we're about to take a look at Alnitak, Alnilam, and Mintaka. As you can see, they're lined up with the pyramids, right? So the constellations are lined up with the pyramids. All right, goes to show you, ain't no regular human being built those pyramids, okay? These 3 star regions operate as the joint command of central control. The gateway, which opens up our sun universe to the myriad star populations of our great Father universe. This collective gateway in Orion permits matter energy intelligences to go on into pure fields of soul evolution. Moreover, the Lords of Light through the Council of Nine coordinate and synchronize through this central field of energy in Orion. All of the pyramids of all galaxies in our sun universe, which use the programs of the Eternal Father. All right. Now I want to read a little bit of verse 5. I want to read the highlighted in pink. The major central control pyramid of light in our Father universe is Orion, and in our local universe, Sagittarius. So Sagittarius is our local governing force in our sun universe. All right, we're about to see that in Archturus in key 201. Let's go to key 201. Verse 1. Enoch explained that the greater mind in Sagittarius is the governing force, issuing the commands that educate all forms of intelligence in our local sun universe. This mind force extends from Sagittarius to the outer regions of evolutionary experience through light stations of energy called midway stations. Alright, so let's get a definition for midway stations. Alright, this is at the back of the book. Midway stations, programming points, and clearing stations used by the many brotherhoods of light to govern the physical star fields. Okay, so they're programming points used by the brothers of light. Alright, let's go ahead. Verse 3. These midway stations contain the genealogical records and judicial decisions for all levels of intelligence within the local embrace of their immediate stars. They also contain the weights and measures of the cosmic law that dictates the astronomical balances. All right. Verse 4. Moreover, the midway stations educate planetary intelligence, providing knowledge on all levels from biology to astrophysics, so that we can grow towards a greater understanding of the house of many mansions. Let's go to verse 6. Our closest center for soul mapping is Arcturus, the shepherding frequency of light which governs the preparation of man for the coming of the brotherhoods of light. Arcturus, or Ash, means the good shepherd. The ancients acquired this name from the Lords of Light, who revealed Arcturus as one of the homes of the shepherding focus of knowledge. All right, so let's go to Job, the book of Job, Chapter 38, verse 31. Canst thou bind the sweet influences of Pleiades, or loose the bands of Orion? Verse 32. Canst thou bring forth Mazzaroth in his season? Or canst thou guide Archturus with his sons? Alright. Verse 9. Back to the keys. Archturus is our midway station. Our programming station. It is the seat of our administration, and it is the thesaurus which holds the key documents used for governing the sole progression of our planetary intelligence. Arcturus is also the first threshold of clearance for travel beyond our conscious time zone. It is spoken by Enoch that we shall be taken up through Arcturus, which is the clearing level of our planetary creation through which we must pass to be cleansed and perfected before being programmed to go on to other levels of creation. Verse 12. It was explained to me that one of the great shepherds, prophets, who incarnated upon this planet from Arcturus was Joseph Smith. If you read the Book of Mormon, you already know what the deal is. Who chose to serve the Father by coming to gather the tribe of Joseph in preparation for the coming of the only begotten. It should say first begotten, but the Gentiles, they always like to throw in some bones here and there. And we know that Joseph Smith was a Hebrew from the tribe of Ephraim, and Ephraim was the firstborn spiritually. So Ephraim is going to be the one to bring out these spiritual teachings. And this is why we need to get away from these Gentile breakdowns, these Christian churches, these pastor pork chops. Okay, it's just the same thing over and over again. It's the same syllabus every single year. You're not learning anything new. It's just the same thing over and over again. John 3:16, it's the same thing over and over again. Same thing with the Hebrew camps. It's the same thing over and over again. It's like it's a script. Okay, Deuteronomy 7 and 6, Deuteronomy 28. I mean, okay, it's the same thing over and over again. But as we get higher into these higher spiritual teachings, things start to, it starts to get crazy up in here. It starts to get juicy. It starts to get delicious. We out here eating good. All right, verse 14. As we evolve a new astrophysics and cosmology, we cannot move ahead into this new age without taking inventory of all information which has come to us from Arcturus. We cannot ignore the shepherd guide, which stands right in front of us with the guiding staff or pointer. We must recognize that this truly is a living force of intelligence to which we must direct our attention. As we develop the physical light technology to decode space signals coming in from Arcturus and from their space technology orbiting within our solar system, we work with scientific fulfillment of this key. This technology from Arcturus provides us with the knowledge of geophysical changes in relationship to larger astrophysical and spiritual transformations, which affect the entire planet during quantum evolutionary changes. This knowledge is acquired by those who seek to understand the role of the sons of light, or the Benai Or. In connection with this teaching, the sons of light have established certain pyramids in South America. We were showing that a bit earlier, which are in direct alignment with Arcturus and which give the timetable of astrophysical and geophysical change. Arcturus is our key in uniting our cosmology and astrophysics, not with three-dimensional intelligence as we know it, but with systems of fifth to ninth dimensional intelligence in our middle heavens. Our purpose is to merge with them as we evolve toward the center of our galaxy and reign with the sons of light. Verse 36. Thus, the midway stations prepare the gathering of the seed into the starseed, as it is remade and re-evolved according to the star knowledge which emanated from the greater universe, Orion. So that's going to be it for this video, for this lesson. Hopefully you learned something new. Hopefully you got a better understanding on Pleiades, Orion, Arcturus, and the Big and Little Dipper. I say shalom and stay strong.